1408 is a 2007 psychological horror film directed by Mikhail Hofstrom. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It stars John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson and is considered by some to be one of the best Stephen King adaptations next to Misery and The Shawshank Redemption. Anyway, let's get started. The plot of this film tells the story of a young author named Mike, played by John Cusack, who is skeptical of the supernatural and has written several books debunking the topic. So, one day he is invited to stay in a luxurious hotel with a warning to stay out of room 1408. Of course, him being a skeptic and this being a horror film, he decides to reserve a night in the room anyway. Big mistake, since the room is a gateway to his most sinister secrets and won't let him out unless he faces them head first or dies trying. I love the way this story is executed. When you think about it, the premise is pretty simple given that it only is supposed to take place in one room, but the way it plays out is very complex. There are scenes in this film that will literally question your perception of things and will just twist your mind with just how insane it all is. There is one scene where Mike sees himself in a building across the way that looks exactly like him, and there's another scene where he is deceived into thinking he has escaped the room only to discover it's another apparition created by the room. There are so many twists in this film that constantly left me in suspense because I never knew what reality-bending thing the room was going to do next. The terror comes from the unpredictability. I give premise a B+, very well executed. Next is acting. The acting in this film is pretty good. I especially have to give props to John Cusack, who carried probably about 90% of this film on his back. It mostly focuses on him, and his acting is not only good enough to make you care about him, but to also root for his escape. Samuel L. Jackson also does a good job at not only conveying sternness, but also fear when warning about the room. Just from because those two things are very hard to pull off at the same time. Fear, yet seriousness at the same time. Just from his reaction alone, you can tell that there's just something just not right with the room. I give acting a B+. Nothing much else to say except that it carries the film along nicely. Finally, directing. As I said, the way this film plays out is very complex, but in a way that ends up being surprisingly terrifying. Mikhail makes some very creative choices with the film that constantly vex the perception of the viewers and just take off in so many different directions. There were moments in this film that I didn't think would be possible to pull off, but he does it in such a fantastic way. He also does a good job of letting our protagonist develop as he goes through his own personal hell and escapes to freedom. I give directing an A-. Overall, 1408 is a mind-bending horror film that will constantly have you question what your eye and mind perceive, but that's what this film has going for it. The limit as to how many laws of physics it can break, and the insane way it all plays out is easily the scariest part of this film, because it makes you wonder just what else this room is capable of and what else it has done to its previous tenants. Perhaps it made one think he was getting out only for them to actually be climbing out a window. Yikes. Either way, I give 1408 an A-. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and sub for more content.